Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Grabbing the Brisket podcast. Hey, we thank you for joining us. So today we got a special interview planned for you guys and gals. We have Meathead from AmazingRibs.com coming up here shortly. We're super excited to have this gentleman on. We've had him on before. It's great to get to catch up with him again. We're going to talk all things tailgating, favorite tailgating stories, recipes. I know we got a lot of input from the listeners talking about. I guess we got a list. We got kind of like a top favorite stuff that John kind of compiled from all the listeners that chimed in. Yeah. So eager to get into that. But first and foremost, how's everybody's week been?
Been great,
dude. It's
been
I don't even know, man.
Weekend.
It's been a freaking. You came off an awesome weekend, right? A long weekend.
Yeah, went out to Fredericksburg, Texas, then ended up staying in Wimberley for a while. So just a lot of just wine, good food, hanging out with family.
Wimberley's nice.
Wimberley was. I never knew anything about Wimberley. Went out there. It was really nice.
The Blanco River runs right through there, right? So
stopped in Blanco, went to the Red Bud Cafe.
Okay.
And it's right there on the town square. You know, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Bunch of bikers.
So I stopped and had some food there too earlier this year. Mm-hmm. And I went to a little winery place there, but it was a pizza restaurant. And dude, it was pretty legit. I mean, you can tell it's a young, vibrant kind of community, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people are everybody's engaged. You know, it's kind of a place that you kind of want to stay and live. Yeah. You know?
Well, a lot of people from Austin are moving there because a lot of Californians, John, are driving people out of Austin. Bro. So they're all moving to places like Blanco.
Well, didn't you live in California?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
a long time ago for me too.
Listen, you can't, guys. Listen, you got here, and we do appreciate you did. So we welcome everybody. We're not biased, right?
A little bit we are.
I
mean, I am
a little bit. We are.
Yeah, we don't.
We welcome.
I already am
here.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Anyway,
so
you cook anything?
No, but I was going to ask you, did you see anything weird? Like
weird?
I know Austin, that area, there's always...
No, because I was in Fredericksburg. It was like just like so many freaking bachelorette parties in Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
A lot of
it's
white chicks with blonde hair and large rimmed hats. They're just all over
bunch of hats.
Just a bunch of hats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Went to the Winery. It's a winery with rhinoceroses. That was interesting. I never saw that combination.
Yeah, when it's plural, it's rhinoceri.
Rhinoceri.
So were they like statues or something?
No, there's like there was a rhinoceros right there, and everybody's just sitting outside drinking wine. There's a rhinoceros pen. Apparently the shtick is that some of the proceeds go to like rhinoceros preservation.
You know how hot it is outside?
Oh, it
doesn't seem safe.
Hot.
Yeah, thank you. Put the damn thing back in the wild and be done with it. Like that, you want to.
It's not hotter here than it is in Africa, where he's from.
I'm telling you right now. But look, if you're trying to do good, then leave them alone. Okay, you're not doing anything about putting them in front of your storefront and drinking wine around the damn thing. Let's be honest.
I'm gonna guess that it's a rescue. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Hey, I rescued a grizzly bear. Come over here and drink some wine while it rips your freaking head off or something. Right. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what they're thinking, but people are just.
They're probably just challenged rhinos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they're probably just missing a horn, or you know what I mean? They can't put them out in the wild because you
can do whatever you want. It was in the wild before you took it. I mean, I'm just saying, leave it alone.
Unless it was like one of those like drug cartel animals that we discussed.
Yeah, right. Pablo Escobar's
cocaine rhino or something.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Well, he had hippos, so I'm pretty sure rhino was not out of the question.
Cocaine hippos, for sure.
And meth gators.
Let me ask you this: what would be a weirder pairing for a winery? What animal?
What's worse than I bet a rattlesnake? Hey, play with our rattlesnakes while you drink your wine, and everybody's like it's like a rattlesnake church, right? Where you're like I believe, you know, and then
hold this snake, and then it bites you,
and then you get
you're sinning.
You got the devil in you. You're like, whoa, wait a minute. I got my finger.
He died.
Yeah.
So they're like hamsters, like I don't know.
I don't know,
something
man.
Stupid. I don't know.
I've seen the cat cafes, which is really disgusting because they all go into litter boxes. I'm like, no, I'm not.
I didn't know it was a thing.
I don't want that thing on top of me while I'm trying to eat my food or whatever else.
It's got to smell like a litter box the whole time.
It's called a cafe.
Cafe. Cafe.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know.
This was called the Winery.
The Winery.
Sadness. There's sadness all day, all around. This is California just moving into
No,
Texas.
it's not, James. No, it's
we
not.
did not create this.
Yeah, trust 100%. Me. Somebody from Texas was like, I'm going to catch that damn rhino. I promise you. Babe, you want that rhino?
That's accurate.
Hey, you want a winery? Bring that rhino. Get that rhino. Let's go.
I was surprised that a lot of people don't realize that Texas has like wine country.
Yeah.
Like I guess we just know that because we live here, but like most people I talk to who are outside the state have no clue about, Fredericksburg or Texas wines or anything like that.
We don't want to tell
them.
them.
Think of it.
Yeah, that's
We don't want to
good
tell
point.
them.
Good point.
It's ours.
All the wine there was terrible. I would
Horrible.
not recommend
Disgusting.
going.
Ugh, gross. Horrible
Nice.
scenery.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm famous now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can
yeah.
talk about that.
I
or
saw the
not,
text.
but,
Don't worry,
Go
bro.
ahead and let the cat out of the bag, John.
No big deal. Just getting recognized in public and whatnot. Had a
No big deal.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the group text, guess what? I got recognized.
You know what? You don't have to make it like
People
that.
recognize me at work all the time. I don't know what you're saying. Like, you
here's
go to
what
work and got
Let's hear the
recognized?
story.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Okay.
Pilot's like, "Hey, are you John?" I'm like,
Wait,
"Why?"
is this at your work?
I'm at work. Yeah. I'm like, "How do you know
Wait,
my
so
name?"
somebody at work recognized you.
Yeah. Do you see what I'm
It's the
saying?
exact same thing you were just talking about.
Listen,
Dave.
Exactly.
listen, Wiener.
Yeah. Listen, Linda. I didn't know this guy.
Anyway, sorry. Go on.
No, I didn't know because I
Flew
don't know
for
anybody.
different
at Pilot.
airlines.
And he's like, "Yeah, from Grab 'em into Brisket." I was like, "Yeah, that's me. Like, can I sign something for you?
Did you
or
say
should we
that to
take a
him?
picture?" Or
You did not say that.
no, of course I didn't say that. I was like, "Yeah, that's cool, bro.
No, you did not.
Yeah, I
right.
listen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I listen to me too."
Yeah. Then he ran right straight into the laboratory and was like,
Exactly. It's
No.
not a laboratory though.
Yeah,
"Whatever
I
it's-
don't.
lavatory."
Laboratory.
Yeah, it was where you go and make your Mr. Hyde and Dr. Jekyll concoction. No, I don't think he did. So he goes, hey, John, and you're like, yeah, and you're like,
Yeah, basically. I was like, "How do you know my name?" Because I don't know any of the pilots' names. None of them know my name. But
yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, you know my name." He's like, "Dude, Grab 'em into Brisket." He's like, "I've been listening for a couple years. I'm completely caught up." I'm like, "Let's go."
That is amazing.
Yeah,
what
it
was
was
this dude's
awesome.
name?
I want to say his name was Greg.
You didn't catch his name.
You're a
I just
horrible
said
person.
Greg.
You might be the worst
You
human
think it's
being.
Greg or it is Greg?
It's Greg.
Greg.
Craig
I feel
or
like
Greg?
a lot of our listeners' names are Greg,
Yeah.
Greg.
but I'm pretty sure it was Greg because he sent an email.
Oh, okay, good.
I told him to email me. So
Okay, so he
Did he
did.
send us a winner or fail?
no, not yet. He should though. I'm gonna tell him to
Yeah.
do that. We're like best friends now, so it's
Jesus
no big
Christ.
deal.
Yeah, great.
We'll probably vacation
Hey,
together.
John's
We both
like
fly free. So.
Hey, John's like a 5-year-old that goes out and meets somebody on the playground. Is like, got a new best friend. It's Greg. He's calling
What's
me.
his name? I don't know.
I don't
think
know.
it's Greg.
I think it's. We hang out all the time. He texted me.
That is so funny because I asked Sissy stuff like that. Hell, she's like, "I got a new friend at school. What's the name?" I don't know.
I don't know. We played together.
Perfect. We've been playing
Great.
for 3 weeks. It's great.
Hey, I'm proud of you, John.
Anyways, he's a fan. But speaking of fans, real quick, we got a call in
Yeah.
from a fan. I was hoping we could maybe play that real quick.
Sure. Let's throw it out there.
Not a winner or fail, just a call in.
Just a call in. Just somebody
Oh,
checking in.
I know what's coming.
Hey guys, this is Greg. Sorry, it's been a while since
Jesus Christ. It's
Call
gotta
in.
be Greg.
I've been
Okay.
kind of busy. Just a couple of questions. I've been listening to about 4 or 5 of them this morning at work, and then on the way home right now. I just want to know, is Jan still a bitch?
Yeah. Yeah, Greg. Yeah, Greg. Jan still is. You know that. Sorry, SOB.
That's a different Greg.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the other Greg. The Greg that likes to call you a bitch.
Yeah.
I like how he said
What-
he has like a few questions, and it's just, is Jan still a
But he
bitch?
just does one question.
That's number 1, 2, and
Yeah.
3.
Hey, he goes,
Yeah.
question mark, question mark. You know, it's a couple of questions there, right? I don't know. Yeah, whatever, man. You know what? I am what I am.
Matt
That's like,
saw it coming a mile away.
Yeah, I did.
I'm like Popeye,
As soon as
right?
John queued up
Yeah.
a voicemail, I knew that was
I'm
coming.
Popeye. I am what I am. Okay? Say it to my face.
Uh,
No,
hey,
man, it's been
people
good.
love you. They love to hate
I
you.
love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. Hey, you didn't win any seasonings, but
Call in again next week.
give us your barbecue fail,
Maybe
and
we
we're
should
gonna.
send him some anyway.
You know, I think it's maybe we get a care package.
Yeah.
We all
Long
just,
time listener.
I'm gonna get like a half bottle of rub. I'm like, here,
You're gonna get.
here's
No,
a
we should
half.
send him. We should
yeah.
send him a shirt, one of the shirts on our website with your face on it.
Oh, that's a genius
Yeah.
idea.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Greg,
I'm
when
still-
you listen to this, send us a message and we'll hook you up.
Yeah. Let us know your
100%.
size.
I'm still sending you a half bottle of seasonings that I've been using.
Just
Just
combine
let
a
you
bunch
know.
of the leftovers in one
Yeah.
bottle.
Mystery.
Mystery seasonings.
Good luck.
No, that's awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah. So actually, there was a who was so I got a bone to pick with you, John. There was I showed you this the other day, James, and I don't know who I can't remember his name, and maybe it was Greg. I don't know, but it wasn't. But it was a post where what was the post where he was coming out and basically said something like
Yeah, it was on Twitter.
the Twitter post. Who was that roasted
Jan
me?
was called out being a bitch.
Yeah,
and
it
then
roasted me on the thing, and then you.
Grabbing the Brisket said,
Grab not John, not first of all, not John, which should have came from John, but grabbing the brisket basically put out a meme or GIF or GIF or whatever you call the damn thing, and it was like basically like correct, agreeing with it.
Oh yeah, that's probably me.
Yeah, no, 100%. I know it's you, dude. But I'm like, no, that should have came from John, not from Grab 'em and the Brisket.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry, I don't know if you know this, but I actually run all the Grab and the Brisket social
it's not
media.
the same.
He is causing trouble because
It's not the same, whatever else. But I'm glad. 'Cause I first read, I was like, dude, what the F, man? But I was like, oh, okay, I gotta get into this a little bit, because I've taken a back seat to social media, and dude, at first I wrote so many different things, like just so many different, just whatever, like, and then I settled on like a neutral, but also kind of like, I don't know, whatever kind of post. But he responded back. I know the name, and I should be able to say this out loud, but I just don't know. But anyways, I said something back, and then he said something back, and then dude, I went right back with it, But he was very positive, and it's like one of those things, like you just don't. Like, I don't ever take offense to it.
No, because they all actually love you.
No. I know that. I don't know that, but
they like you. They tolerate you.
They tolerate me. It's fine. But the only thing, dude, I wanted to roast you, John. But if I did, I was roasting Grab 'em the Brisket because it wasn't at. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So kudos to you, man. Sorry. Can't even talk to you.
Well, John's been causing trouble on there because he posted something. It was a hot dog, and it just had ketchup and relish.
Yeah, right.
And he's like, all the hot dog needs. And obviously that's wrong. Yeah. And I responded like,
I was just trying to get a rise out of people.
Can you do better?
Only toddlers put, ketchup on their hot dogs.
100%.
And then I get like a 6 or 7 Twitter response kicking me off of the podcast.
Oh, really? You?
Yeah. No, it was him kicking me off.
Relieving him of his duties.
Yeah.
You're done.
But then I found out in my rebuttal, there's an actual hot dog and sausage association. There's a governing body of hot dogs and sausages.
Yeah.
And their position is that ketchup does not belong. First of all, I had no clue there's a governing body for hot dogs and sausages. But secondly, they back me up.
It's mustard.
Okay.
It's mustard.
It's mustard.
It's mustard.
Mustard belongs. Okay?
Yeah, I like mustard. Mustard and relish is my go-to.
Ketchup is for French fries.
Thank you.
Right.
Appreciate that. For potatoes.
And eggs.
Potatoes.
Not for eggs. Not for
We're done.
eggs.
We're done. You're off the podcast. Yeah. Anyways.
Wrap it up.
So James and we ended up cooking a couple of briskets this weekend, right? Labor Day. I keep saying Memorial Day, but Labor Day weekend. We had a few briskets we put down for one for the neighbors, which I think was awesome. And it was a little 4-year-old. They had a petting zoo over at the house, and across the street.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool little party they threw.
Oh, did you guys get the money for my tree getting cut down?
What?
We're supposed to exchange the briskets for getting my tree cut down?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow. Okay. Continue. Never mind.
What is happening right now?
I don't know. You're talking. I'm just going to tell about the briskets that we cooked. You're going to talk about the money that we don't know about.
Go ahead.
So we cook these briskets. But we go over, and it was a big party they threw. James had a little idea, and he's like, we've got some few things packaged up at the house, and so one of the things that I can't remember the guy's name.
We probably don't want to say his name anymore.
Yeah, probably not.
Next to us.
Anyways, didn't have a grill in the backyard. Daniel. That's what James does. Daniel.
He doesn't own a grill?
Yeah, didn't have a grill. So we brought over, James had a birthday gift for the kid. We brought over a grill for him. Everybody in the place just stared at us.
Wait, you brought him a grill?
Yeah.
We got him a Weber.
And Weber.
What kind of Weber?
Just doesn't matter.
Just regular Weber.
Yeah.
Oh, like a 18-inch or a 22?
Like 18.
Yeah.
18-inch, yeah.
Is it custom or anything?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Nope.
Just checking.
No, just a normal. But listen, I think that's what you have to do, right? You've got to get in your neighborhood, and you got to figure out who's not doing it and make them do it, right? Make them get on, they could fall into drugs or something. You know what I mean? They could fall off and go into horrible depressions. They need, they need to have this community of barbecue in their life. And the fact that we were able to recognize and save another soul, I feel so positive about this.
If you don't start smoking meat, you'll start smoking meth.
Or
That's our next shirt. That's our next shirt.
Yeah. You're going to smoke something. Might as well be brisket.
Yeah. So we carried this giant platter of brisket inside the house, not knowing anybody a soul except for the couple
family
that lives there, the family. And we're like, oh, brisket's here. And you drop it off, and there's people just We're all just staring.
Who's
and
the
just
people
like,
carrying
guys.
food in?
there's hot dogs and then there's brisket. They're like, hot dogs for the kids. And then some guy was like, came up and made a comment. He's like, oh, okay, there's the brisket. Yeah, we got a small brisket outside. I'm like, wait, there's another brisket? No, he was making a joke. He was talking about the tiny cow that was outside in the petting zoo.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
a little baby cow.
I got you. I got you. There it is.
That's awesome.
It was good. Anyways, I felt good giving away the present and giving the brisket to them and whatever else. And then I guess they came over that night. At that point, I don't really remember a lot of that. I do know they come over and they talked, whatever. They loved it. Enjoyed the brisket. It went good. It went fast.
Awesome.
And then James and I got together on Monday, and we did brisket tacos
Hell yeah.
for the family. They were amazing.
Hey, did anybody at the party ask for barbecue sauce?
We didn't.
You just didn't bring any over.
We would have.
Good.
We would have grabbed.
Nobody asked.
We
though.
would have grabbed the
That means-
brisket.
Okay, so it was a good brisket.
We would have grabbed the brisket. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Walked away.
Okay. We would have grabbed the brisket, and we would have been like,
You got any barbecue? You just walk
We
off.
exited, and
"That's how you get no brisket." Okay.
Yeah.
So
all in all, it was a good weekend for Labor Day festivities and the barbecue. I mean,
Yeah.
word. So we have to take a break to maybe pay some bills. Is that where we're at right now?
I think we need to go ahead and bring our guest in, and then we'll.
Oh, is that where?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so they're in. Okay. So we've got Meathead Goldwyn coming in.
Hello.
How's it going, brother? How are you?
Man, I am sitting here admiring your cave there. Golly, that looks like the place to hang out and drink beer. I got a glass of wine, so I'm kind of
There it is.
on that one.
Cheers, brother. Cheers.
Cheers. So are we live or are we just prepping?
No, we are live. We're ready to go.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hot dogs, guys. Now, I'm in Chicago, and it's against the law here in Chicago to put ketchup on a hot dog.
I would imagine that.
Were you
Yeah.
just listening to us right now? Because
Yeah.
we just had a
Yeah,
conversation.
He can hear us.
Yeah, he's listening.
And I got to tell you, I wrote a whole article on this subject on AmazingRibs.com, my website. Long article. I mean, we've got Clint Eastwood ranting about nobody puts ketchup on a hot dog.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the Hot Dog Association. I have a videotape of them talking about this. No ketchup on a hot dog.
No.
I need a link so I can send it to
I'll tell
John.
you why. I wrote this article, and it's a rant on why you don't put ketchup on a hot dog. And you can, if you have any sensibility, you can tell my tongue is deeply embedded in my cheek, and I'm having fun with this. Well, I got to tell you, I have learned out why no ketchup on a hot dog. Because it destroys your sense of humor. People who read this article and they like to put ketchup on a hot dog get really irate. The worst emails I've ever gotten are about my article on no ketchup on a hot dog. I swear to goodness.
That's awesome. I love it's
that's
controversy. You know what I mean? That's what you need.
It destroys your sense of humor.
Yeah. Take a joke a little bit. God.
Tell me about grabbing by the brisket. I mean, is this some sort of sex abuse of cattle or what is it?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're in Texas. I mean, it's a thing. Yeah.
It's consensual.
Yeah. It is consensual. No, I don't. I actually don't. This wasn't my naming, right? I didn't come up with this. And Matt, you didn't come up with this. This is something that James and John, or was it just you, James?
It's mostly James. This was from.
it was something that I kicked around. Actually, this was probably the second name that we came up with. The first name, I think, was Getting Lost in the Sauce. And we thought it was perfect. Then me and John did the research, and there was already a podcast out there that was already named that. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm not as creative as I thought I was. So I was like, we were listening around. There's a rap song by the Digital Underground where there's a phrase in there where it says, "Grab 'em by the biscuit."
Ah.
which would be the booty.
There's another famous grab 'em phrase out there.
Right. A lot of people,
Yeah.
That's
Some
right.
blonde-haired guy said it, I think.
Right.
He did.
We get that a lot, and
orange
some people
fella.
think that that's where it came from, and so we get a lot of dirty looks. We get a lot of thumbs ups over it. But yeah, we sound straight. Okay, it came from this '90s rap band,
early '90s
that we all kind of listened to, and I know everybody that listens probably heard the song.
I'm kind of late to this party here. How long you guys been at this? Because I was listening in, and you guys are having fun. I'd like to be at that table.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, we started a few minutes early. We kind of talked about our day. I think we've been at it for about maybe 30 minutes.
No,
how long
in general.
Oh shit!
Yeah, you're all over the place. Yeah. So probably for the podcast itself, probably 2.5, 3 years or so of just whatever. Competition team wise, we've probably been competing as a group in some nature of this probably for the last probably 6 years or
At
so,
least, yeah,
7 years. And then James and I, and everybody here on the table, we were all neighbors at one point, right? And then James and I, we're twins here, so we competing now probably close to 20 years. I mean, just on and off with different teams and ourselves and whatever. So it's been a cool ride. But I think what really sparked this was it was the garage, hanging out on a Friday night with all your neighbors. We're grilling. We're always cooking something, and somebody's like, man, we should, obviously alcohol's in play, but we should record this. We should do something. And then
everybody wants to hear what we're talking about.
Yeah, right? And nobody, we're so dumb, right? Just to be honest. But but we kind of did it, and then we got involved with the NBBQA and just meandering through this whole process.
Where are you based?
It's been amazing. We're in Pearland, Texas.
Just south of Houston.
Oh, so you are in Texas. Okay.
We are. Yep. So, yeah. So, what have you been up to, man? So we saw you in everything, but we saw you in at the last event was in Fort Worth at the NBBQA event. That was my first time meeting you. I cannot tell you, it was such an honor. And I was afraid to ask if you even wanted to step on the microphone and get on the podcast a little bit, and you did. And I was so nervous.
Gracious,
but, dude, it was awesome, man. I mean,
I think you can tell. I like talking barbecue.
100%. Right. 100%.
I'm not shy, and it was fun meeting you guys down in Texas, and you impressed me with your setup. A lot of these video logs and vlogs and podcasts, and it's just a guy with a microphone. You guys are pretty polished and professional. I'm impressed.
Well,
thank you.
That's the first time we heard that.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
We have never heard that before.
We fold one.
Yeah. Holy moly.
All right, I got to ask you. See, you're supposed to be interviewing me, but I'm interviewing you.
Let's
guys.
go.
Yeah.
You're a competition team. And I heard you talking about brisket, and one of you was critiquing, not criticizing.
That's right, yeah.
The other guy is brisket. Are you guys not separating flat and point?
On a comp, we typically
not usually.
It depends.
No.
It depends.
No,
every once in a
no.
while. So there's been a few that we've done. It was fine, but typically we do not. We just shape them down very small, and we'll try to serve a little bit of the flat and the point together when we turn in. But it's very that's kind of our.
I mean, personally, I separate them now.
Yeah.
Now, I don't compete, but it's just like dark meat and white meat on a turkey. They cook at different rates.
Yep.
The point and the flat, and you've got like a chicken breast. It's tear shaped, pear shaped. So the determining factor in any cooking is thickness. So it's really thick at one end, thin at another end, and then you've got one muscle that's really fatty and another muscle that's really lean. And then you got grain going in all different kinds of direction. And then in between these muscles, you got this thick layer of fat that nobody wants to eat. Yep. But if you cut through it and you pick it up and squeeze it, it gives you a nice juicy look.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You go on social media and you can't go 5 minutes without somebody squeezing their brisket. It's like Mr. Whipple and the paper and the toilet paper.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, and that's something that I totally agree with you, because the further you go back on that flat right there, you dive right into the point, and that point becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Mm-hmm. And that flat will get smaller. So there's that perfect moment, I think, when we're trying to slice, that I look for is I want the flat to be prevalent, but I don't mind a little sliver of that point coming through. And I think it just looks so good.
Well,
but
that little 4 or 5 inches where the point overlaps the flat.
Yeah.
Say that 5 times, especially when you're drinking. And you cut through that and you get a thin layer of fat, which people will eat. Those thick layers of fat that are further back.
Yeah.
I know one guy, a very good brisket cook, who digs most of it out, but he still leaves the 2 muscles attached.
Yep.
I like to separate them. I like to strip the fat off as much as possible. Maybe leave a 1/4 inch because people will eat a little. That'll shrink down to 1/8 of an inch, and people will eat that. Leave on the big fat cap. Nobody's eating that. Plus, I want my rub on the meat, not on the fat.
That's right.
And if you got a thick fat cap, people are going to cut it off, and there goes all the rub. But I've been cooking them separately for a while. And then you have the total freedom if you're going to do burn ends out of the point. Although I got to tell you, I've had fun. Not as good as burn ends out of the point are absolutely the best. But I've made burn ends out of the flat because the flat is the lesser of the 2 cuts for me. So, burn ends, you're really, they're swimming in fat, they're swimming in sauce, you're doing everything under the sun to them.
Yep.
Why do it to the really good cut, the point? So, but nothing. I mean, burn ends from the point are just fantastic.
They are.
But in any case, if you haven't played with it lately, I recommend you try splitting a point from a flat. And your listeners who are perhaps brisket fans, give it a try. I mean, don't wait until a competition to do it. Do it a couple of times at home, and maybe do them side by side. Comparison taste, and see what you think. I like the freedom of separate. And boy, you get really nice flat slices too, because you got smoke ring all around.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me ask you, let me jump in there. Let me ask while we're on the subject of brisket. So one of my pet peeves, and I say pet peeve, one of my I see all over social media and the use of is the beef tallow and how they use beef tallow. And you have these influencers that just put out there and talking about this is the only way to make a tender brisket or a juicy brisket is to render down your beef tallow. And
that's a hot trend now.
Yeah. But
there's no doubt that it has some effect on heat transfer and the surface of the meat. But something everybody has to remember when it comes to that tallow on brisket or fat caps, fat is oil, meat is 75% water, oil and water don't mix.
Exactly.
Now, marbling within the muscles, like you have a lot of it in the point, less in the flat, but that marbling, the fat within the muscles, intramuscular, it will melt and will enhance flavor and juiciness, and it's fantastic, and you want as much of that as you can get, which is why you try to buy prime meat whenever you can, when you can afford it. The flat, which is leaner, tends to be drier. But you can't get the surface fat to penetrate into the meat. It just runs off. Every single drop. I mean, there's zero penetration. Maybe a fraction. The surface of the meat may look smooth, but if you look at it with a microscope, it's got lots of cracks and crevices and a few pores. But the fat cannot penetrate more than a fraction of an inch, not even a 16th, maybe a 32nd of an inch. But it will, that 32nd of an inch is the surface, and it will distinctly alter the surface. And you were talking about bark earlier. It's going to affect the bark, but it is not going to affect the interior. It's quite the trend. Next year it'll be clarified butter. The year after that it'll be pig fat. Who knows?
Right.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, right now, one of the things that I think that I've heard of that people do, they're not talking about, and which I think is weird, but they're doing their injections, but they're not doing injections with beef broth or bone broth. They're doing it with chicken broth, and chicken broth in your brisket. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I could see beef broth in my chicken.
Frankenfood.
Yeah. Think about it.
Yeah, I'm not having these visions of the cow. Cluck, 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 cluck.
That's awesome.
I get it. You want moisture comes from two things. Everybody thinks of water. You inject it, you got the liquids, the water. But a great deal of your moisture comes from fat. And you can inject it with just plain water, and that'll increase the water solution. Or you can inject it with beef fat or chicken fat. Did I say chicken fat? Chicken broth or beef broth. And you can inject things with butter. I mean, how did Butterball get started?
Yeah.
But you're just looking to add flavor along with the liquid, and chicken broth is kind of mild, kind of neutral. I use it in a lot of stuff. I mean, you guys probably use it too for rice and couscous and stuff like that. It's just better than plain water, and I think that's probably what's at there. Beef broth has a very strong flavor, and if you use too much of it, I think your brisket will end up tasting like pot roast. Yep. I've had some fun playing with pork fat and bacon fat, and of course duck fat. There are all different fats you can play with to enhance the bark flavor. I've injected turkeys with butter. It's tricky. You got to wait for the meat to warm up before you can inject the butter. Otherwise, the butter freezes up and clumps up. Mm-hmm. But
that's a good move.
That's a pro tip right there.
That is definitely a pro tip.
Because I think
chicken breast. But if you try to inject it cold, the needle clogs up because it chills the needle right away as soon as you stick it in there, and the melted butter solidifies. But if you start cooking and get the temp up to about 100, I think 90 or something is the melting point for butter. Get it up to about 100, and you're still, you're taking it up to 155, 160. So you're not there yet. And when it hits about 100, that's when you get your needle out and you start poking it.
Mm-hmm. Let's go, man. That is a great tip. I've never even tried that before, but I can guarantee you next time I cook chicken and I'm injecting, I'm doing that. So thank you.
No, we've definitely injected some chicken before and had issues with it.
If you're cooking chicken, one of my or turkey for that matter, is there's always an aluminum pan underneath for me. I'm capturing those juices and the fat that come down, and I'll have small spring potatoes down under there, Brussels sprouts, carrot chunks, and a little water and a little fat. You put that under the bird, and what happens is for the first part of the cook, the water kind of steams and simmers it. And then the water evaporates, and the oil that's there, plus any fat that drifts from the bird, it fries. And so now you've got chicken fat flavored potatoes that have been fried underneath the chicken, and your Brussels sprouts and your carrots. Boy, those are good.
Yeah,
those are really good. And you can do this with a rotisserie too if you're doing a rotisserie.
We got to hang out.
Right.
We got to hang out and cook.
Just come down to Texas.
Yeah. I mean, so where do you live?
Chicago.
Chicago, right?
I'm in the suburbs of Chicago.
Okay.
I'm in a town called Brookfield, famous for its zoo. I have my own cage.
I'm actually flying to Chicago next week.
He's not going to tell you where he lives.
Don't come on too desperate.
I'm going to be in Northbrook, Chicago, which is
I know where that is.
So that's where I'm going to be. I'll be there for a couple of days, and then I'm flying back on the 14th. So,
I tell you, if you were saying about where I live, don't give away. Google Earth. There's Google Maps, but you can click over and it becomes Google Earth with photographs and Street View. So you go down the street and you can see what in any case, the Street View version of my house, I'm on a corner. They drove past my backyard. I'm in there standing at my grill.
Nice.
I love it.
I am in Google Earth at my grill.
As you should be.
Yeah. It's like everybody's dream. It's every barbecuer's dream is to catch Google Earth while they're doing their best. You know what I mean? That's awesome.
We should look at your house, James. I bet somebody's peeing in a bush.
Yeah, I'm probably doing something stupid.
Not good. You're not. Yeah.
Well, hey, as we're recording this right now, is the first NFL game of the season.
That's right.
I know.
So
I often do a live broadcast myself on Thursday. Just Facebook and YouTube last Thursday of the month. And just today, I sent an email out to my social media gal and said, let's move it to Wednesday. I want to watch football on Thursday. I don't want to be doing broadcasts on Thursday.
Well, I know. So we were going to talk about some tailgating foods and everything. And I know I was on AmazingRibs.com today looking, and you have an article, or it's more like a list there of a whole bunch of different tailgating, all kinds of things. So
I did a checklist because I go tailgating.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget stuff, especially the older I get, I forget stuff. And so I just did a checklist so that every time we head for the game, out comes the checklist. And I can just start scratching off everything I need, piling it on the kitchen table and hauling it out to the car. And so there is a really good checklist, and it's been well tested on AmazingRibs.com. Yep. And then we have a whole bunch of recipes that we think will be fun. You know, there's two ways to approach it. You really don't want to be doing things like ribs and brisket at a tailgate. They take too long. So you can do that stuff in advance and just reheat it at the tailgate. And there's a lot of stuff you can do at home. Like you can make scrambled eggs in an omelet in a Ziploc bag.
Yep.
And just shake it up and bring it to the game. And then if you've got a flat top or a griddle, just dump it out. You don't have to break eggs and schlep eggs to the game, which is always hazardous. So you know, that's one approach. Do a lot of the work at home and just come down and heat it or warm it or finish it. The other approach is to cook from scratch down there. And if you're going to cook from scratch, you got to pick stuff that's going to cook fairly quickly. Yep. You were talking about hot dogs before. I have a favorite thing I love to do for football, both tailgating and couchgating, is, you know, the old Aboriginal tribes used to have some of them had this belief that to strengthen yourself in battle against an enemy, you had to kill one and eat him. And that was devouring your enemy. Well, I mean, if you're going to play Cincinnati, then you got to eat a Cincinnati hot dog.
That's it.
For the game. If you're playing LA, you got to eat a Dodger dog. If you're playing Seattle and Arizona, you got to eat a Sonora dog, a Detroit coney, they call them in Detroit.
Yeah, conies.
Or Nathan's Coney Island dog in New York. So, you know, you put out a spread and you eat your enemy. Chicago dog. It's funny how that works, because there's no such thing as a Chicago hamburger or a Cincinnati hamburger. Yeah. But there's these regional styles of hot dogs, and we like them that way, you know.
Mm-hmm. What's the Texas style hot dog?
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, what's the Dallas Cowboys?
I don't think the Cowboys have a hot dog.
Well, there's a fine
like
sausage
a chili dog
in Texas, and of course the Texas hot guts is what you're famous for, which is a beef and pork smoked sausage that I've got a recipe for, but I got to tell you, it's my least. It's not there yet.
Okay.
It's good. So I published it, but some of those hot guts I've had down there were just awesome stuff.
That's awesome.
Okay,
that is awesome.
Heard of that.
Well, so we had some people all respond to us with
we put it out there, like what are the best game day tailgating foods. We put it out there on all of our social medias, and we got a lot of responses.
Well, let's have them.
I think we got, like, do you have it, John, or do you want me to?
I do have the list.
Go for it. Yeah, I think we got everything, right?
There's a huge list, and I think number one, almost everyone said was wings.
Wings.
Like wings are go-to.
Yeah.
Wings are a thing. While you pulled it, you already have it up?
That's right.
Okay, never mind. I was going to say, like, I was kind of blown away. I went to U of H Rice college football game, and Rice does not really tailgate. They wear sweaters and they fold them over their necks, and they're very hoity-toity. Okay, Rice, however,
they're smart kids.
Yeah, right? U of H. I walked through the parking lot and I was like it was freaking amazing, because we were at Rice Stadium, dude. They were like frying up like 1,000 wings. I mean, there was nobody from Rice tailgating, but everybody from U of H, because we're all in the same city. It's two colleges in the same city. Everybody was
took over.
Yeah. And so the guy, I walk around, the guy was like, "Hey, you want 20 wings?" I'm like, who the hell asked anybody for 20 wings? But yes, I'll have some, sure. I mean, that was my first time watching people fry a thing.
I'm a gator.
Yeah.
And we are party to the world's greatest outdoor cocktail party, which is the Florida-Georgia game in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Neutral territory, they call it. And that is one massive tailgate and cocktail party. But I have some interesting thoughts on wings and chicken. I mean, now, anybody in that audience there doesn't like fried chicken? Raise your hand. Does not like fried chicken. Yeah, okay. Nobody's hand went up. Yeah, everybody loves fried chicken. But we don't make it very often because it stinks up the kitchen, sets off the smoke alarm, spatters all over the counter, and then you got to sleep on the couch that night.
That's right.
The way to do fried chicken, now stick with me in a second because it makes sense, is on your gas grill. You get a Dutch oven with high sides. All you need is 1 inch or 2 of oil. Turn the flame on underneath the Dutch oven. Get it up to 375, 350. That's your sweet spot, 350, 375. Leave the other side off. So you've got 2 zones. And you can now fry on your gas grill. First, there's no risk of you knocking over a Dutch oven.
Oh, yeah.
And even if you do, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to lose a $500 gas grill. Knock over a pan of oil on your kitchen stove, and you lose that $500,000 home.
That's right.
So deep frying, Dutch oven, gas grill, fantastic. And you do it in batches because you can't get it all in that Dutch oven, and you don't want to fill it any higher than a couple of inches. And you pull it out, and you set it down on the indirect zone. When you close the lid, it's just staying warm over there and drip drying, and it goes right into the drip pan, the grease pan.
Yep.
Stays warm, stays crispy till you're all done. I mean, that's where you do your fried chicken. So if you're going to do wings, you got your choice now. You could grill them, which I love dearly, the flavor, but they're not quite as crispy as deep fried. And if you want to deep fry them on your gas grill.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can we please do that this
I
year?
want
Because we all
already.
get together on for Sundays, NFL. We got to fry some chicken now.
Let's fry some chicken.
Never ever fried chicken.
I actually do fried chicken a lot.
I just don't.
Oh,
don't
here we
bring it
go.
up for
Super
ours.
unhealthy.
Okay, all right.
No, I actually do, right? Or I whatever.
about doing
I
it?
talk about it.
Yeah.
But no, I actually do. And I totally agree with you because I stopped frying inside of my house. I don't really fry. I don't actually cook bacon in my house anymore. I cook bacon outside
Really?
because I just
I
don't.
do it indoors. I want that smell in every corner of
I
the house.
know. I mean, I love the smell, but it just, I don't know. I just
Too messy for you, too
I started
poppy?
doing it, and it's a habit now or whatever. But we've done the fried chicken outside, and I completely agree. But the smoked fried, have you tried that? Smoked fried
Smoke
wings.
them and then fry them.
Oh yeah. No.
yeah.
So smoke them and fry them.
Yeah.
It's just a quick hitter. It's like maybe about a minute in the fry. Pull them right out. It's crispy. It's smoky still, and you still get that same kind of. It's not as firm. You still get that same texture. I think is the
Well, you don't have a crust on it.
Yeah,
But you have you have crisp.
that's it.
And that's fine with me. I mean, I want to crunch the skin.
Yep.
And the only reason to eat wings is for the skin.
Yep. It's delicious.
I mean, that's what we're there for. I mean, okay, yeah, the drumette and the other part they got a little bit of meat and they're nice, but we want that skin.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And so that's something we do a lot, even with turkey. Like we'll do whole turkey breast or even whole chickens. But sometimes we'll pull that skin off and we'll cook that skin separate. Holy moly, man!
I remember that last.
So
Yeah, that
good.
was so good last.
So
time.
we've done tacos out of the chicken skin. It's game changer. It's a whole different crisp. It's a whole different flavor. It's like a taco shell. We should put that out there. Let's put it out there again. It's amazing. It's good.
He's pulling up on his website right now. He's
Yeah,
probably got an
he's gonna
article.
show
on
you.
that.
No, I actually have something to show you. You can tell I'm drifting off here, aren't I?
Oh, that's great, man.
If I can do a screen share, I'd love to show you a turkey breast.
Go for it.
Done that way. Let's see if I can do a screen share. Where is the button? There it is. choose what to share with, select a tab to share. No, Windows, window. There we go. Can you see that turkey breast?
Let's see here.
Oh, hang on.
1 second.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Okay.
That looks amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's the photography, not the turkey. I do all my own photography.
That's amazing. So, okay, we hadn't gotten into this yet, but apparently you're going to be down at the NBBQA teaching
Yes.
a photography class.
I am. This is pretty advanced stuff, but we'll start with the food. This is a smoked breast, and you can see the slices of the breast meat. But those tan, if you can see the tan stuff, that's turkey skin. I do it just like you say. I take the turkey skin off, and I grill it or fry it, and then I crumble it like cracklings.
Oh yeah,
turkey cracklings, and they're mixed in here with some cranberries, which I have simmered in port wine, so they've plumped up a bit.
I don't know why.
But it's a really nice recipe.
Jesus.
And the photography is an interesting story. I don't know if you want to hear it, but I do all my own photography, and I'm really up my game for the new book that I'm working on, and that's what this is from.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
I need that lesson
awesome.
because my photography of the food I cook is pretty piss poor.
Yeah, it's shitty.
Well,
Yeah,
so listen, I that's what I love about the NBBQA. There's so much going on, but there's so many different events or classes to learn and to network. And I cannot wait to do this because this is something that I struggle with, and probably all of us struggle with, is lighting and really trying to make the picture speak for itself. Right, that one picture, it really is. What is it? 1,000 words or a million words? I mean, it's amazing.
There's a couple of very simple tricks. First of all, use a window light if you can, or if you're outdoors, outdoor light. Direct sunlight is terrible. Open shade is much better. And try to get your main light at somewhere between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. That is behind the subject, not behind you.
Okay.
Never use the flash on your camera. Always look for outside lighting, preferably coming from between 10 and 2. And that's and use the latest camera phone that you can get.
Yep.
These new camera phones, I use an iPhone. They're just brilliant. I mean, their capabilities are amazing. What I showed you a minute ago depends an awful lot on some very specialized techniques, including my lighting system and also Photoshop. But you don't have to go that crazy to get really good stuff. My last book, none of this. I didn't do any studio photography in my last book. I don't think.
You're like, well, that's pretty awesome that you're actually photographing your entire stuff. Because I didn't actually know that, and I probably should have known that by just researching and whatever else.
I did my master's in photography, so it was it was a natural. Did my undergraduate in journalism, my master's in photography, and I've been cooking most of my adult life. So there you go. That's Meathead, writer, photographer, cook.
Well, we waited long enough. What else is on that list there you got?
Okay,
John?
I'm going to run through this list instead of just going through everyone one by one. We're just going to run through the list. Anything pops off, we'll get to it. We'll talk about it. Okay, so top 10 of what we were suggested on our social media pages. So wings #1, pulled pork sliders, queso, buffalo chicken dip, atomic buffalo turds, jalapeno poppers, beer brats, burgers, ribs, pork belly burn-ins.
Well, I mean, your things like pulled pork sliders, you're going to do the pulled pork the night before, or the day before.
It's very forgiving to reheat.
Yeah, and you're just going to probably you shouldn't shred it. Probably you should leave it as an entity, and then put it in some sort of enclosed pot or something, and simmer it just to get it back to moistness. But steam it would be better. But ribs, and you got to prepare in advance. Those are the classics. I like to do flank steak. Everybody likes eating steak, and flank steak, if you cut it properly, makes great sandwiches, maybe a good crusty loaf. I bring like a $30 hibachi. Doesn't even have a lid on it.
Yeah.
But it's charcoal. And I can get it good hot. I drop the grate right down on top of it. And, flank steak's rarely more than an inch thick. And the way to cook it is hot and fast. And you get a great crust and a medium rare center or the medium. And it's pretty juicy. It's lots of flavor. It's a little chewy. But if you cut it right across the grain, about a 1/4 inch thick, makes great sandwich slices that pull apart like a brisket would. And I love to do that, and everybody feels it's kind of special. And it's quick and easy, and when I'm done, the charcoals go out. I don't have to worry about them. And I'm not going to worry about anybody coming along and stealing my grill.
No, right. What's your go-to seasoning on a flank steak?
Well, I was a salt and pepper guy and nothing else, and it's like ketchup on hot dogs. I didn't want to ever hear about it for many, many years, until about 3 or 4 years ago, we decided we would come up with some rub recipes, and there they are, son of a gun, right on my shoulder, and see if we had any luck in selling our own rubs and sauce. And I did a red meat rub, Meathead's amazing smoked red meat seasoning and dry brine, and it's on Amazon. My wife won't let me cook a steak without it anymore. She was a salt and pepper gal too.
I love it.
It's just got a whole bunch of really good, tasty stuff in there that can take the heat if you hit it hard, and it just works. It's a great set of flavors. Otherwise, salt and pepper.
Yeah,
I mean, good beef doesn't need much. I mean, most meats don't. I mean, fish. You cooking fish? Just get the hell out of the way.
Just let it speak for itself.
Yeah.
I cannot agree more. I went to a buddy's house, and they had made some like almost it's fajitas or whatever, but they did it just on a flat top grill, or it was like a discata, and I was looking at the season. I was like, okay, what do we got to put on there? And it was just salt. It was the first thing they added to it. That was it. And I kept thinking to myself, like, well, obviously you're gonna do something else to it, right? And no, there wasn't. And it was so good. It was so fresh tasting. It's like I almost missed it because I'm so used to pouring all the seasoning on everything, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't need all of that. You know what I mean? They were amazing freaking tacos.
Salt is the magic rock.
Yeah.
Salt is different than anything on your spice rack. First of all, it's just 2 little tiny atoms, sodium and chloride.
Yeah.
Sugar is 26 atoms or 23 atoms, depending on which kind of sugar. Garlic is even bigger still. Black pepper, forget about it. But salt is just 2 little tiny atoms. And when they get on the surface of the meat, they get wet. And they get electrically charged, ionic. And they can penetrate. They can go past that 1/16 of an inch. They can go all the way to the center, and they migrate down. It's not osmosis. It's diffusion. Everybody says osmosis, not osmosis. And it can get down into the center, and it can amplify flavor because what it does is it denatures the proteins. It mucks with their formations, and they can hold more water because of the action of the salt. It doesn't pull water out. It pulls it out for a little bit, and then it goes back in, and that's when it sucks in the sodium and chloride. And I've got still pictures that show this on the website, a sequence. Boom, boom, boom. You can see it. Salt goes on, water comes up, salt goes back. Water goes back, and there ain't no salt left. Yeah. But salt does that. It amplifies flavor. It takes it and turns it up to 11 on the dial. And it holds moisture. And it doesn't alter flavor. Garlic and pepper, they alter the flavor.
That's right.
Salt just amplifies it. So it's special, and there's nothing else on your spice rack that behaves like it.
That's why I love hearing from you, because nobody explains the science of it better. I always learn something scientifically about cooking meats.
I'm a geek, man. Well, there's a lot of that in the book. If you've seen the book,
oh yeah,
half is a science book. Look, this is 2023. We don't want to be told, do step 1 and shut up. Do step 2 and shut up. I want to know, well, what happens if I switch brown sugar for the white sugar in step 1? Why do I got to do step 2? We want to know why. And that's what I've tried to do here in the book, is explain the whys. There's a lot of sciencey stuff, but I think I've written it plain English so you can understand it. Because, I mean, we start with what is heat?
Yeah.
What is smoke? What is meat? What is vegetable? And what are they, and how do they respond to heat? And how do they respond to smoke?
Yeah.
And, we try to dispel some myths. I worked on it. There's a small byline underneath mine. Professor Greg Bolner of Boston University, and he's our science advisor. And he explains stuff to me frequently and helps me explain to you guys. But we've had some fun doing some fun experiments. He was the first to explain what happens during the stall. You guys are familiar with it, and presumably your audience knows about it. If they don't, the stall is what happens when you're cooking a big hunk of meat, like a pork butt or a brisket, at a relatively low temperature. It stops cooking at a certain time. All right, guys, I got to ask you, is this pre-recorded or live?
No, we're pre-recorded.
Pre-recorded.
Good. Can you edit? Because that's my wife calling.
100%.
Yeah,
we got you, brother. We got you.
I don't know
What is
that.
atomic buffalo turd? Do you know this?
Isn't that is that a Greg Rampey thing?
I'm not familiar with
they've
this.
been around for 100 years. I got the recipe on my website.
Yeah, there it is.
It's
it's a song.
ground meat and bacon and hot stuff, and you go look up the recipe.
Yeah.
It's been around for 100 years.
Okay.
We're gonna make some this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, they're fun. Everybody loves them.
Yeah.
It's kind of a sausagey thing.
You got to find a buffalo. That's all.
No.
I love it.
It's so stupid, John.
So you're working on your second book right now. What's this process look like for you? Like, is it grueling? Is it something you can't let go? It's like it's a passion.
Well, it's both. It's I was a journalism major, so I like to write, and I've written extensively. My book and the website, there's hundreds of articles on the website I've written.
Sure.
But writing a book is a big job because an article might be 500 to 1,000 words. A book's got to be 120 to 150,000 words, and if it's got recipes in it, you should probably have a minimum of 100. And you got to test them. You got to test the hell out of them. You got to test them on charcoal, on gas, on pellets. And then you got to photograph them or hire a photographer to do the photograph, which means you got to test the recipes and then you got to cook it for photography. And, and I write because I write this sciencey stuff. I've got to be accurate. I've got to I have what we call first readers. The first readers are the first people who look at the manuscript and tell you, well, you got that wrong, son. And I hear that. Yeah. And then, so it's a lot of damn work. And that doesn't count the proposal for the book and the agent and working with the agent and then finding the publisher and refining the proposal and the contract and deadlines and advances and payments and all that whole process. It's an industry and it's a lot of work. And I admire guys like Stephen Reichland who've written 100 books? No, 15 or so. I mean, that's yeoman's work.
I cannot agree more. I think everybody has this, and maybe I'm saying this because maybe I have or whatever, but I think everybody has this need to get words on paper, right? To get their thoughts on paper. And I've struggled with this through my life a little bit, and I've written 10, 15 pages or something, maybe up to almost 35 pages of something, but there are always thoughts, right? It's hard to put everything together, and I've always struggled with really just trying to formulate the plan and the execution of trying to really just put together a short, a short book or short something that just whatever. I've always struggled with it, and it's an art, and I think when you have the words in your head and you have that literary way of just putting things out there, I think it's awesome, right? And I think it's a masterpiece. Everything I read right now it's not a masterpiece, but it's somebody else's thoughts, somebody else's words, somebody else's narrative. I don't know. I'm intrigued by it all the time, and coming from a person that can't do it, right? So if you can't do it, I talk about it, right? I talk about this. I'm on a podcast. But listen, I'm a huge fan of this, and of you. And I think it's pretty freaking awesome, to be honest with you, man.
Well, if you know how to go about it, it isn't all that hard. I mean, for my books, I start with an outline.
Yeah.
What is it I want? What is it I want to cover? Is there a pervasive theme? This next book is called The Meathead Method. And the pervasive theme is I'm going to explain a lot of the methodology that I use. We talked about a few of them today.
Yep.
Frying on the grill, putting a drip pan under poultry and frying potatoes and stuff underneath that, or making gravy down there. I do that with my turkeys. So, we're talking about technique a lot, methods. The Meathead Method. That's the major direction of this book. So I start listing, I have a section on Koji. I have a section on MSG, and how to use them and what they taste like and stuff. So and now you got to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
So you've got everything outlined. And then you got to shuffle everything around. No, this goes over here and this goes down here and cut and paste. And it's a lot of cut and paste.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was not any cut and paste. I was trying to formulate thoughts that it would just go through, right? And I did a rough outline, but I'm just saying, like, it was very difficult to keep the flow. And I got myself completely just out of whack, I think. And the thoughts were so jumbled that sometimes, like, in my head, I had it right, but once I put it on paper and I read back through it, I was like, this is I'm talking about three different things.
Well, that's because you didn't start with an outline.
Exactly.
I thought I had an outline, but you're right.
They're saying, actually, there's books on how to write a book.
Yeah. Well, I need to read one for dummies. How to write a book for dummies.
Right.
It probably is how to write a book for dummies. I'll bet you anything.
There is.
Google that.
There is. There is. I'll tell you right now, there is. I already looked at it.
You guys are having this whole bullshit session, and none of you have the computer in front of you. I've never seen this or heard this.
We don't. We don't want it. We don't want the distraction.
We have the cell phones.
We could look it up. We could whatever. But at the same time, whether we're right or wrong, it's what is it? The box, right? Schrodinger's box.
Right.
It's like it's neither right or wrong right now. We haven't opened the lid yet, so
it's all about the conversation.
Let us know if we're wrong.
Right. I love that.
Plus, we got Raul. He fact checks us.
Yeah, he's over there making sure.
Is your mic on yet?
No, he's not mic thing yet.
Okay, so his next time he's on, his mic will be on. Because he doesn't think that he's going to be on the podcast because he's producing it over here, but he's definitely going to be on the podcast.
So when do you expect this next book to be available to the public?
It's on schedule for spring 25.
Okay.
My deadline is March 24, and it takes a whole year to get through the editing, layout, design, printing, shipping.
Well, they got to earn their money.
Right.
That's what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I'm sure nothing's going to happen that'll ever delay that. So
Yeah.
No. Well, I've been promising this book. I first promised it in 21, and then I pushed it back 22, 23, 24. This is the final pushback. I actually finished it. In spring, but it was too big. It was enough for 2 books. And I went to the publisher and I said, "Hey, how'd you like a 2-book set? That's never been done." And they said, "Nah, marketing says no. We don't think we can sell anything that expensive." So now we put it back a year so I can cut it down to 1 book, and we'll see what happens with all the stuff I cut out. My guess is is there'll be another book someday.
2026.
There it is.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
God help me.
That's very cool. Hey, listen, he's helping you already. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Cheers. Hey, so you did say you're drinking wine. Is that true?
Yeah, I got inexpensive German Riesling. I was a wino before I became a barbecue guy. I mean, officially a barbecue guy.
Yeah. Well, I just want to give a big shout out real quick, and I want to say a big cheers to you. So we're going to hold our beers in the hand right here. Give me a big old, hey, cheers. I appreciate the fact that you have come on, that you've said yes to us.
Twice.
Delinquents
Why would
over
I say
here.
no?
Listen, I don't know.
There may be
I
a
have no
third
idea.
around the corner.
Yeah,
Who
so he
knows?
says, hey, how'd you like to get have a bull session and a few drinks?
You're like,
Yeah.
I say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't
All right,
sound
so
fun at
hey,
all.
yeah.
hey, Meathead, if folks do want to go ahead and go buy the first book, I think everyone has already bought this book. I know
we
I
already
have
have
it.
it. Yep.
Or if they want to get your seasonings or your sauces or anything, where do they find it at?
How kind of you to ask. The book is called Meathead, The Science of Great Barbecue and Grilling is the subtitle. It was in every bookstore, but it came out in 2016, so it may not be in every bookstore now, but it should be in a lot of bookstores. It has sold 250,000 copies.
1%.
Most cookbooks are lucky to do 10 to 20. So it's one of the best. It's, I believe, second only in popularity to Stephen Reichling's Barbecue Bible. So I think it's the second most popular. Of course, Barbecue Bible's been on the market 20 years, and mine's only been on the market.
Oh, you're going to
Yeah,
pass
yeah,
them right
that's
up.
right. Hey,
yeah, you're going to
Give
pass
me a
them.
chance.
If you do the
And then we have 3 rubs and a sauce,
Yep.
and they're really good. I worked hard on them. I'm really proud of them, and they're on Amazon.
Yep.
Okay.
Slow and Sear, the grill company, has them. A couple of websites that sell rubs and sauces carry them. Old World Spices sells them, but they're on Amazon too.
Okay.
And I don't sell them. I mean, anything other than that, and we don't even sell them actually. They go direct from the manufacturer to a company that puts them on Amazon.
Yeah.
Then the book is sold by Amazon. I don't want to be in the retail business.
Yeah.
Plus, we review products and services, so I can't compete with, I'm not going to make a grill or something.
Right.
Not yet. You say that.
No.
I mean,
it would ruin our credibility as a reviewer.
That's
Right,
true.
Right.
That's true. Okay. I can see that.
I mean, we don't take any guest posts. I get every day 3 or 4. How would you like me to write an article for you on gardening or on brisket? No, we can handle it.
Yeah.
But
100%.
so we don't do that. And usually when they get those requests, it's from a guy who wants to plug his website or his
Right.
company. And then, we don't take junkets. People offer me a free trip to come to Macon, Georgia, and see them making grills. I say no, thanks. So we try to keep ourselves square.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, in your position, and listen, I know that we're cutting it close here, or whatever else, but I would say in your position, that's respect, because a lot of people out there would not do that, and they
it's
would.
the change of times, man.
Yeah.
I'm an old school journalism school graduate. I went
right.
to J school, and in my day, that was the rule. You could not have the paper would fire you instantly. I used to be the wine critic of the Washington Post and the Chicago Tribune, and wine companies in Europe would invite me, come on over, see our vineyards. You can fly on our Lear jet. Couldn't do that. So we can't still do it. I still play by the old rules. Yeah. Nowadays, everybody is a spokesmodel or a spokesperson brought to you by,
Right. That's when you don't trust it.
So you just, I just haven't, I'm not of this generation.
Yeah. That's respect.
I'm an old war horse.
Much respect for that.
That's awesome. Well, Meathead, we appreciate you coming on, and we're definitely going to have to do this again.
I'm at your service.
Yep. We're going to put all the links down below for the listeners. If you want to find any of his stuff, it's going to be, just scroll down. You're going to see it. Just scroll down. You're going to see all the stuff for Meathead.
Yeah. Hey, honestly.
Or just Google it.
If you're not showing, like, I want to see how many of our listeners have one of his books. You know what I mean? Or have a seasoning. Like, show your love a little bit. Because because I know we're all out there and we're all fans. So yeah.
Well, the seasonings and rubs, they're only like 3 years old, and we haven't really done much to push them. Every barbecue store in America has great seasonings and rubs, and every competition team. So I don't expect many people have even seen them. But the book, I wouldn't be surprised if a large percentage of your audience has it.
100%.
I've got one on my nightstand. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll put you to sleep.
Every night I have my wife read it to me. It's fantastic.
She is.
It's the science.
Good.
So, like most barbecue chefs, you can't read.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. I got it's the audio book.
Yeah.
I just look at the pictures.
Right.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Hey,
Thanks,
Meathead,
man.
we appreciate it. We
Thank
wish
you,
you the
thank you.
best.
Yeah.
And
Good to be with
looking
you
forward
guys.
to the
wish
next
I could
time.
be there around the table. And let me know when you want to continue the conversation. I'm easy.
Well,
Although
yeah,
8 o'clock Central Time is right around my bedtime nowadays.
Okay.
We'll make it earlier.
That's
next
mine
time.
too. by
We're
the way.
going to see you in San
There's a football
Antonio.
game on in the other room. I'll see you guys.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Appreciate
Cheers.
it,
brother.
Appreciate it, brother.
Oh my God. Fantastic. Hey, can we not stop the table and just do a big cheers real quick?
We already
just
we
cheers.
just
Like,
cheers.
How
Again,
drunk are you?
hey,
Just cheers.
Listen, hey guys, we just had Meathead on.
yeah.
It was an amazing.
Yes.
It's an amazing rib.
Hey, he's one of the guys, right? He's one of the
He's one of the
Hold on,
guys.
hold on. You just cheers to us. You didn't take a sip. You put it down. That's bad luck. Thank
You
you.
got to take 2 sips now.
When you think
you.
about like the founding fathers of
I'll do
barbecue,
it, dude.
the dozen guys,
I'll
whatever, he's up
definitely
there,
do it.
right?
He's
one
up
of the
there.
he's one of the dudes.
Yeah. I actually got a text from somebody at work. They were like, "I know you're doing the podcast tonight. Just drink a beer for me." And I was like,
nice.
"You got it.
I'm
You
drinking
know
one
I
for
will."
everybody at the
That's for
company.
you.
Yeah. I got
Yeah.
40 people to drink for.
Did you explain that you don't really drink?
No, I just said I'm not a big drinker.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a big drinker, guys. This is what it is.
But it's kind of hard to get a word in when obviously we're trying to do the interview and you're not trying to. I'm not saying geeking out or whatever, but I do remember a time early on, probably like the 2000s, and trying to search barbecue related products and tips and tricks on how to do brisket, how to do ribs.
Yeah.
And AmazingRibs.com
He was it.
was one of the websites that popped up that I visited a lot, and I honestly I learned a lot of stuff early on in my barbecue career.
So you got me on it.
Correct.
You're the one that got me on the website.
Yeah. I mean, when he mentioned the steak thing, that was one of the articles that I read talking about steaks and salting them, and they go through this whole scientific process to show you, okay, salting them, how long do you leave it on? Then you show the process of, okay, now it's starting to pull up. It's pulling a little moisture, and all of a sudden, boom, it goes back down again. The moisture goes back in the steak,
It's
and the
not
salt's
meiosis.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Diffusion.
What do you say? Diffusion.
Diffusion.
Fusion.
Not osmosis.
Osmosis.
Did you say meiosis?
Mitosis.
I think it's a great time for a commercial break.
You know, smoking meats isn't just cooking, it's an art form. The aroma, those deep flavors, the patience, it's a whole experience.
And behind every great artist, there's the right set of tools. If you're aiming to build your own barbecue pit or dreaming of a custom design tailored just for you, SmokerBuilder.com has your back.
Led by Frank Cox, their expertise is unmatched. Offering blueprints, kits, and insights, they turn every barbecue dream into a flavorful reality.
Imagine your backyard, the center of attention, and at the heart of it, a smoker that's uniquely yours.
It's more than just equipment. It's about crafting those unforgettable moments. And with the guidance of Frank and his team, you're setting the stage for magic.
So whether you're a seasoned pitmaster or taking your first steps into the smoky world,
Head over to SmokerBuilder.com, fill up your carts, and be sure to use the promo code GRABTHEBRISKET in all caps to receive your 10% discount. Smoke on.
threw down some ribs last night, used the Chicks That Smoke spicy rub, mind blown.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like the Chicks That Smoke spicy barbecue all-purpose rub, dude, it is a game changer for sure.
Yeah, if you folks have not given it a shot, you need to.
Honestly, your barbecue will thank you.
Chicks That Smoke, it's at Sucklebusters.com. Bro, you know that new Dalstrong knife I just got?
The ridiculously sharp one that I almost cut myself on? Yeah.
Yeah, me too. But seriously, made such a difference in my grilling. Every cut is so clean and precise.
And it's true what they say, a sharp knife is actually a safer knife.
That's accurate. And if our listeners want a new badass knife, they need to go check out Dalstrong.
We got a discount link below right in our podcast description, and just be careful, they are sharp.
Dalstrong, a cut above the rest.
Hey, this is Russ.
This is Kyle.
This is Michelle.
From the Infectious Groove Podcast. Join us every Monday for the most fun you can have with a music podcast. The Infectious Groove Podcast uses a positive and fun approach as we take time every week to share our jammy jams, then dig into a thought-provoking topic discussing all decades and genres of music. You can find the Infectious Groove Podcast on all major podcast platforms, or you can head to infectiousgroovepodcast.com to find us there and subscribe. We might have a controversial opinion here or there, but we always have fun with it.
Oh, I'm sure I'll say something dumb.
Subscribe to the Infectious Groove Podcast, part of the Oddpods Media Network.
Hey guys, Frank Cox here from SmokerBuilder.com, and I'm back with another edition of Frank Knows What's Wrong With It. So in the last edition of this segment, we talked about my food is too smoky. And this is usually a complaint that you're going to get from someone that you're serving barbecue to that really doesn't have any barbecue experience, really. And so they're looking for something that's really clean tasting, right? So what we're going to talk about this time, last time it was focusing on offsets. This time we're going to talk about like drum smokers and vertical like charcoal smokers. What happens is, especially in a drum smoker, we're burning much less air and we have to have a much cleaner type of fuel that is mostly already combusted. For instance, charcoal. The way they make charcoal is they heat this stuff up until all of the moisture, most of the resins, and all of that stuff is gone from the lump, the charcoal. And so it just is like this black carbon stuff, if you're not familiar with it. So because all of that work is already done, now we can just go straight into burning that charcoal, and it's going to have a much higher BTU content, which is beneficial in a drum smoker because we want to get a really long burn out of that. So drum smokers such as the ones we make, like the Super 55, typically are best when they're loaded with lump charcoal and you light the very top layer of that charcoal and it burns downward like a fuse. This is going to accomplish a couple of things. Not only is it going to give you a really long burn, but it's also going to give you a very clean tasting burn, not sooty, not that charcoal grilled sooty taste. The reason that it is good at preventing that is because the top layer of that charcoal basket is all on fire. So as the new charcoal light's going down, all of that smoke, that white smoldering starting smoke, has to pass through that top layer of lit charcoal, which does this thing called a reburn. Now that's really beneficial in this situation. Where people get into trouble, even if they're top lighting and using lump charcoal, is if they use wood in this situation. You can burn wood in a charcoal fueled smoker, but you have to be really careful of what kind of wood you're using, how much of it you're using, and how you put it in the charcoal bed. In this case, in a drum smoker, I recommend pieces of wood that are the shape of your finger, typically broom handle size or smaller in diameter and less than 10 inches long. And I'm going to place those pieces vertically in the charcoal bed. So in other words, the charcoal basket's typically about 9 inches deep or so is most standard charcoal baskets. And we're going to stick that down in there vertically to where as this wood is burning along with the charcoal, the smoldering wood has to pass through that lit bed of charcoal and it's going to reburn it and give it a more complete combustion. So that works best in other smokers too that burn charcoal. You might get into one that you're putting big chunks in. The big chunks of wood are usually a bad idea because you have to, if you've got a massive coal bed, like in a big sheet tray in a vertical reverse flow or a deep basket of some kind that you want to get hours of burn time out of, you can't just lay a chunk up on top of it because that whole chunk of wood has to light on fire before the charcoal below it can light on fire. So anyway, my advice would be to make sure you don't soak your wood, make sure your wood has low moisture content, and then put it in strategically to where it's not too much surface area of wood on fire too early in the cook. Anyway, appreciate it. Send your questions in, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a great day.
So if you have questions for our buddy Frank Cox, send them in. He's going to answer all your questions about barbecue anything. Like he knows all about all the barbecue smoke.
Not even barbecue anything. You can literally ask him anything.
It's true. Just
Yeah,
please
well,
send in something.
yeah.
Why are we here?
No.
What
Let's
is the
keep
meaning?
It, no, let's keep it barbecue pit smoking related, right? Not chain smoking cigarettes, right? We don't have those questions.
I want to hear all the questions.
No, yeah,
Is
please.
the Earth flat or is it
No, we're not.
round?
We don't want Earth
What's
flat.
going
Can we
on?
get past the ice wall? That's what I want to
No,
know.
there's nobody can get past the ice
You didn't
wall.
ask him yet.
What we're looking for, right, and which we just went through is just any problems you're having with your
Right.
barbecue smokers, anything going on.
Why isn't it flowing right?
That's right.
Why
Ask
is my
Frank.
smoke dirty?
Right. Why
That's
is my bacon getting crispy, but my shrimp is still undercooked?
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Why does,
That's actually a good one right there.
Yeah.
why
That's-
does my
I'm
wife
surprised.
love
Nope.
Rick's brisket over mine?
Nobody loves
Damn it,
Rick.
Rick.
What am I doing wrong?
Say brick or Rick?
Rick.
I think you said brick.
Rick the brick.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. That's, yeah. So sending your questions,
Yeah.
434-829-2299.
There it is.
I remembered it.
You remember that?
Yeah. So send in your questions.
434
Don't screw it up.
829 2299.
Or send us an email, info@grabbingthebrisket.com, or hit us up on the website, grabthebrisket.com.
Hey, but we're just go to the website. Just quit messing around and please come to the website. Grabthebrisket.com or grabtheminthebrisket.com. But go to the freaking website. That's where it is. That's where the magic happens. Let's go.
Yeah, okay. Speaking of magic, it's time for the hot off the grill barbecue news.
No, you don't have to do that. It's so weird
I like
we
to
do that.
I like to do it.
I know. Okay. We always say you don't have to after somebody does some shit like that.
Right. Yeah. So, just to recap, they're still doing the Rubs of Honor. You can still sign up for the NBBQA Conference. NBBQA, we just mentioned this with Meathead. We sort of did. They just announced their classes lineup. So all the different classes, like I mentioned, he's going to be teaching a food photography class. There's a whole list of other classes. I didn't even get to go through them all yet, but they look freaking awesome.
I'm going to Meatheads. I need it.
Yeah, we're going to have to spread out. We're going to have to
I
divide and
need
conquer.
that one, though. Yeah.
Then you do that. I'll do a different one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're going to have to
You
split
need
up.
it, too.
You
Let's
get
be
two.
honest.
Maybe you two should go
The
to
two
that
of
one.
us.
I
in
just
this
need
podcast
you
need
to
it more
listen.
than anybody
Oh,
else.
definitely. Yeah, I'll
okay.
go. I want to go.
Anyways,
I'm going to
so
be
that's
sitting by
going
the
on.
pool. Hopefully there's a pool.
No, there's no pool, dude. What are you talking
I
about?
tried to make this awkward.
It's a vacation.
No, it's not a vacation. It's a workstation, bro.
Anyways, so head over to the NBBQA.com, get signed up for the conference, and then check it out. Figure out which classes you're going to take because there's a lot of good ones. The other thing that Kel was pretty excited about, and I didn't realize it. I guess we've talked about this a lot. Texas barbecue classes, I guess, are just blowing up. Like he's seeing them everywhere. He said, go to Google, type in Texas barbecue class, and you'll find one. They have big ones, they have little ones, they have custom ones you can do for
Hundreds
just
of
you
them.
and your friends. And we've mentioned a lot of them already from people that we've had on the show that are doing these classes, the Phil Breedens and the Bill Purvises and the Myra Mixons. Like everybody has a class
That's
at
not
this
Texas.
point. And I'm just
Myra
saying,
Mix is
everybody
not
has
Texas, bro.
everybody has a barbecue class at this
Okay.
point. Maybe we can throw some links down below where you guys want to try to find one to sign up for. But I guess that's huge right now, the barbecue classes.
Yeah.
Well, it's been huge.
Well,
but
I guess it's huge. You want to
Yeah.
argue with Kel? You argue with Kel.
No,
I think
it's
Kel's-
been no.
I really
Kel-
like Kel, and I don't understand
No,
why you're
why do
coming
you
at
not
him
like
like
Kel,
that.
Listen,
man?
I
What
don't,
is your problem?
You're painting a narrative, and I never said anything about Kel. You're saying I said they've been huge.
They're huger now.
but they're getting more and more
Huger?
popular, and
Huger,
everybody is putting on their own show. You know what the question is? Which show do you go to? Who do you pick from?
And that's what I'm saying. Maybe we can come together with a list. Maybe we can put it on our website, grabthebrisket.com, a list of classes that we would recommend because
Or Jan.
some
We
badass.
do our own show.
Now we're one more person that has a show.
You know what? That was actually
Welcome to the show.
If you want me to read the text, he said maybe you guys should host a few classes, betting you'd have a packed house. So he actually did say that we should do our own little classes or whatever. But
Okay, I will sign on to a show, and I'm not going to lie to you. I would sign on to doing one of these, but I will tell you right now, I will only do one a year. And when it is, it's not going to be some bullshit 8-hour course where you go and sit and watch somebody talk about whatever. We're going to put your ass through the fucking gauntlet, and you're going to be, hey.
We will kick you
hey,
out of the class
you have-
after you paid if you don't are not up to snuff.
We're going to run you.
You're out.
We're going to run you through how to do it and whatever else. But then we're going to run the whole thing as a competition, and you're gonna get your first taste of a competition at.
Own Master Chef.
That's right. And listen,
You're going to have to sign a fucking waiver.
That's right. You might fucking bleed. You might
Dangerous.
burn yourself. I don't even know what's happening. But, dude, I think that would be epic, by the
Is
way.
that the end
It
of the
does sound
arcades?
fun. That's what we got for the barbecue. Hot off the grill barbecue news.
There it is.
Yeah, brought to you by the
Okay.
NBBQA
Way to go,
Barbecue News
Matt. Sound
Magazine.
effects.
Hope we see you at the NBBQA conference.
Okay. And as I always say, this is not the perfect segment.
No. Shouldn't-
Segway?
Segue.
Nope.
I say it on purpose because that's the way I've been saying it now. To go into the Grab the Brisket beer review.
Beer review. You didn't do that right. That was wrong.
Wait, what just happened?
And now y'all own that motherfucker. So, okay, great. Sign us up.
All right.
What we got?
I think Matt found something for us.
I mentioned
Maddie.
I had traveled through Fredericksburg, Wimberley, Blanco, and I stopped into Austin to visit some friends.
This is the funniest looking can I've ever
Right?
seen.
I went to the St. Elmo Brewing Company.
It just says Carl.
It's all their beers just had a name like that. It was like
Carl.
Russell's name. So
Carl.
it's the Carl Kolsch.
Kolsch?
Kolsch.
Kolsch. Okay. I think this is what our buddies over there at, from the middle was just talking about. He was over in somewhere in Europe where this is Kolsch is like the thing.
Kolsch, yeah.
And,
So this is a 4.6% alcohol by volume. The can is very just.
It's very just red, white, and blue.
It is.
this thing has zero smell to it.
It's this is just like a very drinkable beer.
I literally smell nothing.
I smell a little like skunkiness.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be, but let's try it.
Okay.
Oh, that's
You get
pretty
that
good.
you get that
Yeah.
Kolsch bite to
That's
it.
good.
That
Yeah.
back end.
Yeah,
At
that's
first,
great.
the first step, I was like, "Oh, there might be a skunkiness," but no, that's
It was-
that's
yeah.
that's
No, I tasted it. It's not skunky at all.
no, it's good to drink.
James is like, it's skunky. Anyways, listen. Okay, this
Yeah,
beer.
what you think?
I don't want to go first,
It's like no, it is like a little bit skunky on the front of your tongue, but
It
when
is
it gets to the
skunky.
back, it's like
right?
it's
I
good.
think Kolsch's are kind of just like
I don't.
that.
I don't think
Yeah.
so, man. I
don't know.
think this is not a good beer.
Okay,
What is wrong with you? You're all over the place.
For me, it has that Miller Lite
Pilsner
flavor to it.
Yeah.
This
Well-
was the lightest beer they had at the brewery.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not bad. I
need
mean,
a,
it's
we,
good.
We need a wee heavier one. Than
Well.
I think. So if I had to judge this beer on a scale from 1 to 10, which basically right now I do.
That's literally what we do every time we
right,
do beer
that's
reviews.
Exactly
So
what you're gonna
I'm going
do.
to go with a.
Okay, is this the place with the rhinos?
No, that was a winery.
Okay,
Yeah,
It's a 6.4.
6.4.
It's a 6.4.
Okay.
It's a 6.4 beer. It's a good beer.
that's pretty middle of the road.
But that's where I'm at. It's a middle of the road beer. There's
can see that.
there's some stuff driving it down right now that I just don't care for. Yeah, could
And
I
I'll
drink?
say too, very small brewery.
I could drink
This
10
was
of
a
them.
small little brewery.
Listen, I could drink 10 of these and
Yeah.
I'd feel phenomenal. But I mean, the alcohol by volume 4.6, it's got to go up. Like you're creating a very neutral, very like low alcohol beer. Great, then your freaking flavor needs to taste better than this. You know, in my opinion.
No, I like this. I like
No,
this a lot.
it's not a bad it's not a bad tasting beer. I'm just saying you need something, right? And in a world where we have like a million different beers getting created every single day, set yourself apart a little bit, raise the alcohol volume, also take care of the skunkiness. There it is.
I love this can.
Yeah.
It's still good. I could drink 10 of these. I'm not saying I couldn't. I just don't want to.
Maybe they got like a Ted or something like that that's like 8% alcohol by
Well,
volume.
they had sours.
Okay,
and
well,
everything.
let me ask you this.
Yeah, what do you got?
What name would it be if it was the high alcohol?
No, this is a Carl for
Would
sure.
it be the Jan?
No, it'd be the
No.
Bartholomew.
Bart?
No.
Either Rick.
Yeah, the Rick. The Rick's always got a lot of alcohol in him.
The Rick's the alcohol-free one.
Yeah. No, the Rick's got alcohol.
I'll go next.
Yeah, go.
It's very drinkable, very crisp. I'm giving this a 7.4. I like this beer. I liked it. It does have that little bit of a skunkiness.
Are you
but
only-
I kind of like it.
Are you only
I
giving
kinda
it
like
that because you brought it?
No,
And are you being biased?
no.
We'll see in a second. James, go next.
7.1.
Pretty close to my score, Jan.
I didn't ask for anything from you.
No context.
No
needed.
other context. 7.1. John.
This thing does have a weird little skunkiness to it, but I dig it.
Yeah,
I know, I
something
kinda like it
about
too.
it, I like it. It's not like over the top, like what the hell's wrong with this? It's
Give
like
us a score.
skunky and then good. I'm going 7.8. I like this a lot.
7.8.
I would drink the shit out of this.
This is not a 7.8 beer.
For you?
No.
For you?
No.
For
Jan
you?
just doesn't understand what a Kolsch tastes
Right.
like.
No.
Okay? He can't appreciate it.
You need another Coors Light.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Here's to you guys in the grabbing the brisket.
Beer review. See how we did that better, James? Thank you. Okay.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah. I'm trying to bite my tongue from saying slide into, but
We're going to mosey on in.
No, you don't have to say anything. You just
head
gotta-
on over.
Hey, you actually don't have to head anywhere or mosey in anything. You just got to say it.
We're
Just-
going to wander
No,
right on in.
You don't have to.
Just trot into
Yeah.
the old.
No,
The people
no,
are already listening.
There's no
so
trotting.
Just go into
you
it.
Just gotta go. I don't. Why is this a
tuned.
hard thing for y'all? This is a 5-hour podcast we're on. We owe money at the end of this damn thing, guys. This is freaking weird, right?
We have a barbecue win/fail.
Let's go.
We don't know which one it
Let's
is
go.
yet.
I think I do.
This one was submitted on Instagram, which,
Yep.
by the way, when you want to submit these, you can email us. You can leave a voicemail.
Yep.
You can leave a random comment on anything that we post.
John, what's
And
the
we will
number?
grab it.
434-829-2299.
Guys, call that number if you want to dial in. If you want to go to Instagram, you want to go to Twitter, if you want to go to, I don't know, Facebook or whatever you want to go to our website and post it from there. Our website has every link that you can go to, grabtherbrisket.com.
The
There it
voicemails
is.
do go to the top, though, just so you know.
They do.
Yeah,
but-
they're better.
John hand selected this one, so I'm assuming it means it's going to be a really, really great
Yeah.
win/fail.
I don't know. It's,
He probably did.
I just,
Yeah.
it's one that I found.
This is from Dog Dad Barbecue _JKU.
Okay.
Last Labor Day, I was cooking jalapeno poppers in a vertical smoker. The pan ran out of after.
What?
Help me out there.
No.
Because
I
I
ran
had
out of water.
Okay, he probably must have meant water.
Mhm.
The pan ran out of water because I had cooked something else prior to the poppers, and the grease from the bacon ended up starting a fire, and I had to get the fire extinguisher to put it out. The fire destroyed the cheap smoker, so I had to toss it after that. I'm still more upset about losing the jalapeno poppers than I was cooking more than anything.
As you should. Listen, as you should.
First of all, what kind of smoker was it? I'm guessing it was a char grill.
Or
It had to
like,
been a
or
char
like one of
grill.
those
Yeah.
Dynaglows.
He said vertical, right?
Yeah.
Did he say vertical?
Yeah. So what would be a cheap vertical smoker?
Charbroil.
Yeah, it had to be something like that.
Dynaglow.
He got this thing at Walmart. You know what I mean?
Probably, yeah. It's probably a propane with the little wood chips. I want to
Oh,
know
and
what
you're
he's
right.
cooking on
He
now.
corrected. He said the pan ran out of water. He corrected it.
Yeah.
Dude, and you know that people are just sitting waiting for those poppers to come off. He's like,
That's
dude,
why
hey,
it's worse.
the
That's why it's
poppers
worse
are
than
coming, man.
poppers.
And everybody watched him put them on. Like, the poppers are coming, man.
They're going to be bussing.
Listen.
Everybody had a couple drinks. They're just waiting for those poppers. And all of a sudden,
He could run out with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, right.
Yes. I do see the fact that, like, hey, this thing burn up and whatever.
You know, hey, some advice. Don't put those jalapeno poppers directly over the flame.
Yeah.
I know you got a vertical smoker, but just have the charcoal on one side, put the poppers on the other
I
side.
just-
that when they drip, it's not dripping.
Don't let
on
it catch
fire.
on fire either. Yeah.
I just want to ask a
Just don't
question
let it,
really quick is, are you sure the poppers weren't bad? Are you
Salvageable.
are you
Did
sure?
he light up?
Are
Did
you
he light
sure?
this on
Did
fire
you?
to cover it up?
Yeah.
He put the fire extinguisher to him, so
I just
wouldn't
don't
need
know
him
what to
probably.
say. I just
What was his
like,
name?
Did you send a picture?
Dog Dad Barbecue _ JKU.
Can we just
Okay.
call him Dog Dad?
You can call him
Dog Dad
Barbecue.
Dog Dad? What
Dog
do you-
Dad
Dog
underscore
Dad's getting something,
JKU.
though.
Hey, Dog Dad underscore JKU. Guess what you just won? Sucklebusters. Everybody wants some Sucklebusters. Let's go.
And you know what? Hey, get a little bit of like a pork rub or something. Sprinkle that on your jalapeno poppers. A lot of people just go and buy the pre-made jalapeno poppers and just throw them directly on the grill. They don't
season
do
'em.
anything to them. Put a little bit of sweet seasoning on there. Anything for like pork.
And money.
Give it a little nut.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I love it. And you are now entered into our end of the year giveaway, and it's gonna be badass.
Do not sleep on this. We've had so many entries, and just for submitting this right here, you're automatically entered into our giveaway at the end of the year, which is right now is like 20 $400, $2,500 in prizes right now.
It's a different giveaway, but
Different
it is
one.
going to be a
Oh.
very good giveaway. Yes.
So they're not entering the
There
same
is a
giveaway?
giveaway that's going on right now that this is separate. That's ending in, I don't know, like another week or so.
Yeah.
So if you haven't entered that one, go to any of our social medias or to our website and enter that giveaway. But this end of the year giveaway, it's just for the folks that have sent in a barbecue winner fail and have been played on the air. So it's a small pool. So if you want to get in on this one,
That's what I'm talking.
Send it in.
I actually didn't
What
realize
happens
that.
if we pick the same person more than one time, John?
Can't do it.
Extra entry?
yes, 100%.
I
So
like
if you
that.
have another one, send it in. If it's good, we're going to use it.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
If you make up shit, we're gonna know it, and we're gonna burn your freaking house
But
down.
if you say Jan's a bitch at the end of it, you
will get
at the
played
top
for
of the pile.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
right,
100%.
okay.
John's like, that's 5 extra entries.
Exactly. Hey,
Entry.
you guys don't know how excited I am for next year's giveaway. I've got so many plans, but we'll save that for our end of the year when we do our Christmas beer review episode where we just drink all the beers and we'll announce the next year's thing. But this one's badass, so make sure you get entered. Sending your wins, sending your fails.
100%. And I will tell you right now, the 2024 entry we're talking about is when you win, we all show up at your house and we party with you for a freaking we party with you for a freaking week. We burn everything. We can't cook nothing, and we eat all your groceries. Okay,
Entry fee is $2,000.
and you're welcome.
Okay.
Are we showing up like Publishing Clearinghouse
Yeah.
with just
Yeah,
balloons?
that's it.
And,
Giant check.
Hey,
Yeah, just
hey, with backpacks.
Giant grill.
We live here for a week. Right? I brought a Weber.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be so good.
We better end this episode.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
Do the thing, James.
Hey, guys, it's been great talking barbecue with you.
Peace.
Let's go.
Thanks, everybody. We've been great.
As we close out, big thanks to SmokerBuilder.com and the NBBQA for their unwavering support.
Absolutely. And cheers to Barbecue News Magazine, Sucklebusters, and Dalstrong Knives for their contributions.
And you know YETI always has our back, and CoolieNation ensures our drinks stay perfectly cold.
Lastly, props to Cambro Manufacturing and, of course, the Spicy Nut, the Chicks of Smoke Seasoning. Thanks to all for powering this show.
Until next time, keep smoking.